Like, if you're a billionaire, don't be flying private, because there's a whole lot of planes that have just been coincidentally dropping out of the sky. And apparently we have some pretty well-to-do individuals that have decided to let themselves be bolted into a big hunk of iron and floated to the bottom of the ocean, where coincidentally there's nothing going on there. About Area 51, but I don't hear about any type of equivalent of Area 51 like in Russia or China, or you can't tell me we're the only country that has a Area 51. Humans are not intelligent. I'm quite sure that there is a higher intelligence looking down on us, and they're looking at us going, yeah, no, they still have not figured out that they are their own worst enemies. We're not. I just have a major problem with people that never leave academia trying to tell you how it is in the real world, because it's factually false. Like,
different world.
When it's one thing to talk about the philosophy, it's a whole nother thing to actually put it into practice and execution. The real world will knock you out. And we are back with another episode of the Julius Files. I am your host, Jason Julius, and today we are doing an off the rails because my co-hosts just have this pressing topic that their brains just will not let go of, and it was like, okay, let's do this. Let's get this episode out there, because there was a little bit of a funniness that came out of initial conversation where it was like, okay, this should probably be on camera or on microphone, but I mean, as much of the seriousness of this, I don't know that this will necessarily be taken as serious, but
it's serious.
Okay, we'll see. So I have Trish with me.
Hello.
And Matt. I don't know. I guess I'm keeping out the fluff of the nicknames, and I don't know. It's just not one of those. Not one of those days.
Serious for that?
I don't know, because I mean, it is June 21st. It is the longest day of the year, and personally, seems like the heat is coming on, which I live for the summertime, but it also brings out the crazies. I mean, it's like something about heat just makes people act
Definitely
stupid.
Rough for a fat guy out there.
Okay, well, there we go. There's a whole nother one. So I will for off the rails. If you don't know, I mean, we got Entrepreneur Chronicles. I haven't done an interview in a hot minute, and water cooler talks, where we talk about actual business and small business issues. And off the rails, it just happens to be whatever current topic one of us might actually want to bring to the table. So when they told me that they wanted to do this off the rails, it's like I already knew my topic, but I will reserve my topic for last. So Matt, why don't you jump right in with your topic? Because like I said, this has been like, I told them I will forget about this tomorrow because I don't give a, but they do, and they're really
do.
That's
do.
Absolutely, yeah. Both of them really do, and I know that people are interesting, and since this is most likely going to end up in a negative story, it'll make the headline of the front page, which is where all negative stories go to, directly the front page for clickbait. But
thanks for being an optimist.
I am a glasses half full individual.
This story has a good ending.
You know what?
It won't.
I'm going to down it, but I mean, yeah, by all means, it's up to you. Like,
so, there's a sub that's lost going to the Titanic with a billionaire and 4 other people.
Isn't it called the Titan?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's indestructible.
Just like the Titanic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So they
visiting the Titanic.
Yeah,
exactly. It's lost now. I think this is day
on a 3-hour tour.
Day 4. They have knocking sounds. I still haven't found it, but yeah, we just really need to dig into. Would you even consider going, yet alone with the $250,000 price tag to get in this tube?
Yes, no, because the thing is,
with a cheap
like I said,
controller tube.
I go 2 directions with this. One of them is that albeit that conspiracy theory where I'm like, you're telling me who's involved in this, and there literally has been statements like if you're a billionaire, don't be flying private, because there's a whole lot of planes that have just been coincidentally dropping out of the sky, and apparently we have some pretty well-to-do individuals that have decided to to let themselves be bolted into a big hunk of iron and floated to the bottom of the ocean where coincidentally there's nothing going on there. I mean, I don't.
Well, one of the passengers is like leading up the worldwide search for extraterrestrial activity.
They just found some aliens in Vegas.
I'm curious about that piece of it, the aliens in Vegas part. I'm not. You were saying something about that.
So basically,
oh, you missed this story too?
Yeah, no. I want to be, because the thing is, I stay away from the news, but somehow Google has crept into my life where I couldn't help but click on the headline today when it said Starlink was tied to the Titan, which was tied to the Titanic, and Musk has not responded. And I was like, okay, well, I'll clip. So I know just enough to be dangerous to find out you guys are totally immersed in this. I read the article itself and I was like, interesting. I didn't know about the alien specialist and the aliens. So no, Trish, by all means,
Yeah. So from what I've gathered is basically there were some aliens in Vegas and it got about probably 2 days coverage and then they just shut it all down.
You don't hear a thing about that anymore.
And then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, there is no aliens. This bullshit. And then
so it was a couple days ago. I was sitting here going, you know what? We hear about Area 51, but I don't hear about any type of equivalent of Area 51 like in Russia or China, or you can't tell me we're the only country that has a Area 51. Yeah.
More people get to leave and come back.
Do they though?
Some.
They
ain't leaving in Russia or China. Like they're on there and that's their entire existence. They're done.
That's the ultimate. What is your purpose of life? Right here.
But yeah, so with the aliens, a cop was doing a traffic stop and happened to see it. Like they watched this thing and it's on video drop out of the sky. So he's immediately like
Star Trek teleporting.
And it's like your lucky day. You're done. I'm going that direction.
We got bigger things to worry about.
So then people started calling it in like, we just seen this thing come down here. So they go to the house and like the people are outside freaking out. Well, they recorded. Now it's at night, so you can't see great, but you could definitely see the shadows moving. Now, unrelated to this, an hour or so later, there's people hiking in the mountains in between Vegas and Area 51 also sees these two creatures, roughly 10 feet tall, running through the woods of trying to avoid them, running, coincidentally, in the direction of Area 51.
Well, and I mean, I do go because I've always questioned this. Like, one, I'm sorry, I'm a realist. You cannot look up in the sky and see all those stars up in the sky and somehow think our dumbasses are so special that we are the only intelligent life in all of this world. Why is it that our governments go out of our way to protect us from ourselves by not admitting what is more believable than you tell me there's no aliens and there's no other life in the world, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to believe that.
But they can't handle it, and that's what the government has said. Like, the people cannot handle...
Because it would break religion, and that's why.
Why would it break religion?
Because all religions still believe that it's centered around us as earthlings.
Well, I get that, but one, like, because I think that one of the major misnomers is that some people think when it comes to religion, like that higher being up there, like it's not human. Like, get that through your skull.
Well, people don't. People don't understand. They think it's a white guy in the Middle East.
Then, yeah, right.
I'm not trying to be funny.
Well, no. But I mean, that's the.
It's some reason we didn't mention that.
That's the whole. And I mean, to be clear, we're looping this back into like a world-renowned Pakistani specialist.
Funny, camera goes out.
Yeah, exactly. Start talking about aliens and God, and all of a sudden, one of the cameras doesn't want to operate anymore.
Power goes out. You're about to see a fat man run.
Okay, so I mean, to kind of rounding this out, I mean, the whole alien story, which I was unaware of in Vegas. Why is that? Because a world-renowned alien specialist from Pakistan happened to let his dumb ass be locked with a sub. He's the one that brought his son?
Yeah, he's the one that brought his kid.
Oh, so his kid, which would probably be pretty privy to the information that now happened to be buried or stuck.
Lost.
Next to the Titanic or somewhere in the area, Maybe, yeah. Named the Titan, which all happens to, okay.
That's like, typically, I wouldn't say tune out and go research somewhere else, but CBS had a documentary of this specific sub.
Okay.
And it's like, that shows you way more than what anybody should have ever let be released. They're using a old knockoff game controller to control.
Like Atari.
No, like a PlayStation. It's a PlayStation controller.
Oh, it's not Atari. It's PlayStation. Let's be clear. Okay, yeah. It's got more buttons than the Atari.
It's held together with pipes. And it's
Well, I mean, he clicked it. He was like, Camper World.
Yeah, he's bragging about the cheap parts that he put in it. And it's just...
So it's not Xbox, but it's not Atari. I mean, okay.
Well, it's probably not even PlayStation at this point. But what they're saying is all these aftermarket pieces, they've improvised. So they're able to use these.
Because it's an experimental vehicle.
And this is the great part, because this is what I do know, which totally blew my mind. An experimental vehicle that they literally were able to get people to be willing to pony up $250,000 to have access to getting into this. What did you say?
Bolted.
16 bolts?
16 or 17 bolts.
From the outside, so you can't even unscrew a hatch and release yourself.
Worse. It's like, it was like 2 hours in, they lost communication. So they know they didn't even make it all the way down. Make it all the way down? I don't know.
Well, didn't you say like it takes the compression issue 2 hours to
go up or down?
Okay.
So, and they have emergency things to inflate it to bring it back up.
7.
Slowly.
They have 7 safety features.
And this guy decided to paint it white. And when you're lost in the ocean, white and blue are the two colors you do not want to use because the planes cannot see you.
Yeah.
Again, I think as a mother in the mom's group, everybody knows, you don't put your kid in a white bathing suit or a blue bathing suit when you take them swimming. Because if they
I never thought of that, but I understand where with the white caps and the blue water. Okay, that totally.
Like orange, green,
Yellow.
Look at that. So like these things, they can be easily seen underwater. You are
They're on the water.
right. You're 12,000 feet under.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's blue. You got
And black.
Yeah.
You ain't seen shit.
and then you got all these waves. I'm gonna see that shit.
Well, and I mean, because don't get me wrong, we want to, if it's going to be off the rails, I've expressed my opinion in business and politics, so off the rails. We kind of went off the rails outside of this microphone, so I believe that conversation is kind of deservant of the microphone. Like, they have no power down there, and the more people that are down there consuming oxygen, the less time that they have. So, like,
Speaking takes up more oxygen.
and then if you want to decide, or somebody just decides, like
They decide for you.
If you're down under and you have no power, you don't know who you're strangling to try and stop the oxygen consumption to buy yourself more time.
Everybody's probably on the same team. Keep knocking.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody will come.
Have faith. They're gonna.
Day 2, though, you're halfway through. Like, you're halfway through the oxygen. There's 5 of you. You're visiting the Titanic. This is where people had to choose. Like, women and children get on the boats, then you're going down.
Exactly.
So you would only seem fitting that you would start making the decisions on who's getting strangled.
But again, like, how do you decide this? Are you going to decide, oh, it's the old guy first because he's lived the longest? Or are you going to take out the young dude?
I believe it's all men, so that knocks that one out. There's only one kid. I would assume we're not killing the kid.
Or he's also the predecessor of the extraterrestrial.
Right. So, I mean, they might have directions to kill him first.
Or, right. There's a lot going on.
It is. There is a lot going on.
Literally.
And then, like, you're panicking. You can't breathe. It's dark. You hear a bunch of noises. And then you got to poop. Now, you're in this little space.
5 people.
For all these days. You're only supposed to be down here for 8 hours. You have no food, no water.
Yep.
You're stuck in this place.
It's cold.
It's freezing. They said it's barely above freezing at this point. The water down there is so cold.
Well, I knew that. I mean, I knew that from watching the movie of the Titanic, that it was,
Right, exactly.
They'd hit an iceberg. I mean, that's, you're going to assume that there's still icebergs in the area.
Rose wouldn't let Jack on the goddamn door.
Yeah.
That's Rose.
Self-assault. But, in this situation, it's dark, it's cold, it's above freezing, hypothermia is going to set in.
So if you kill somebody, you're actually destroying body heat.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
in the name of oxygen, though.
I mean, you could totally Buffalo Bill it, I guess, and just kind of wear the metal suit. But
Wow.
I mean, like the whole body, I can't skin them there. You can just kind of throw it over.
You know what? Because the thing is I mean, wild shit will just go through people's.
Well, look at I think it was like 10, 15 years ago, was that huge avalanche that came through and they ate a bunch of people. Why is everybody looking at me?
Another story I'm completely unaware of. I mean,
Been several years ago, maybe about 15.
I think that was.
Yeah, but there was an avalanche that happened, and there were a bunch of people together, and that's what
40 of them got trapped
yeah,
or something like that.
and they just turned to cannibalism and started eating people.
Might even be 20 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it's probably not going to be that bad right now because they're probably going to run out of oxygen before they actually start eating people.
before they start getting that crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, within 4 days, I think you can. Well, I mean, you fasted. You can easily make it 4 days without eating.
Oh, no, that's what it says. I mean, I can't. I did it multiple times for 20 days. The Bible refers to 40 days. A couple days, you will run out of oxygen long before.
Right. That's the real concern. But then it gets even worse because it's like he painted it white. So they could have hit the emergency button. They could be at the top of the ocean just watching these planes fly over, and they're bolted the fuck in. So even if you're on top of the water, watching boats go by that can't see you, you're still just going to suffocate to death because you felt there's no need for any emergency.
Okay, well, it's because, like I said, part of this is the conspiracy theorist where I'm like, yeah, no way. The other part of this, like I told you guys in the office, at 48 years old, like I will look at something and be like, that looks heavy. I'm not going to pick it up. Because if I happen to do damage to myself, I'll be looking at it going, that wasn't worth picking up. Which means you will not catch me skydiving. I'm not trying to be an astronaut. No way are you bolting me in a frickin' heap of metal and putting me a couple hundred or 1,000 feet. No, I'm not willing to do stupid shit that just does not make sense, is not necessary.
So
that does not strike me as necessary. It does not.
So if you had the option of going into outer space or to visit the Titanic, you would choose neither.
Neither. I'd be like, no, it's not worth it. Neither one is. Well, one, don't get me wrong. Because the thing is, like, I am a consummate. I'm a very, very curious individual, but I don't have any curiosity about the Titanic. I could really care less. I mean, I am, for whatever reason, oddly, I'm curious about, like, you can look through the terrain of what we can see land on Earth. So for whatever reason, I am kind of curious as the terrain that is underwater, but big picture, I don't care. And no, like I've seen too many attempts of astronauts that explode in midair to be like, yeah, no, it's not safe. It's not, I have no desire to experience that kind of G-force. No, I don't. I don't need to go up there. I know that there's higher being, like we're dumb, that like humans are not intelligent. I'm quite sure that there is a higher intelligence looking down on us, and they're looking at us going, yeah, no, they still have not figured out that they're their own worst enemies. We're not. Yeah, no, they're still not. I mean, look, we created an artificial intelligence that will most likely be our own doom, and we created it. Like, no, we're still.
It's fine.
We still don't get it. Yeah, no, yeah, it's all fine. Everything's fine.
But talking about astronauts blowing up, it wasn't until last year that they even admitted that the Challenger people didn't die in the explosion.
What?
They all lived. They died by suffocation and drowning in the ocean because
they were locked into a capsule that was not really. I never even thought about that. Okay.
They didn't think like critical. You couldn't. So, like, in their seats, to turn on your suit's oxygen, the person behind you had to do it. That works great for the people in the front that have the guys in the back that can just reach and flip you on. So the one in the front got their oxygen on. 3 in the back did not.
Really?
So those 3 suffocated to death. The front 3 drowned to death because they hit the ocean, and obviously things went wrong and nobody got to them in time, and they just drowned to death. None of them died in the explosion.
Terrible.
But it's easier for people to.
That is horrible. Like, because I remember being a kid and seeing that, and I mean, and obviously just thinking explosion, everything's gone and dead. And
Nope. They all lived through the explosion. Yeah. So if you were given the choice.
Oh, I'm going to space. Fuck that.
Me too.
Because I'm not going to the ocean.
I'm going to the option is neither.
I will go to space and we can look at all the moons and the stars. We can do all that stuff, but we're not going underwater. I don't do water. I don't do water in my face. I don't do swimming. Like I don't.
Oh no, I'm a Pisces. I'm all about a fish out of water. I love being in the water, but I mean, like
that much water.
Yeah, not that much water. That's not that. Okay.
Some big ponds are
Large bodies of water, but I'm not going to deny that I like being at the edge of the ocean because I know that there's shit in the ocean bigger than me that would swallow me. Just like you talked about, I don't know what size of this canister is, but I know there's some
pounds the size of a minivan.
Okay, so I mean, are there whales that are capable of consuming minivans? I mean,
you have whales out there the size of buses, and you have these whales. I mean, I've seen pictures to where, you know, these whales have their mouths open. I mean, they're big as this table. They're just opened up.
wow.
And then did you hear about the orcas? So the orcas are all coming together, taking out these boats because a female orca got injured. She was injured by one of these fishermen's boats. So now these orcas have came together underwater and they're communicating and they're taking down boats. So they're actually like knocking off the propellers. They're hitting them. They're capsizing these boats. Like the orcas are pissed. And now sharks are also doing it.
Which is actually, I mean, a sign of a certain amount of intelligence.
They're taking back the waters. So who's to say that this submarine was like...
Last year there was that walrus that was going through sinking all the boats in the harbor.
Yeah.
Seriously. No, again, you guys know I turned off. This is trivial, interesting stuff, but it still does nothing for me.
This big bastard was hopping on there, and he was sinking boat by boat by boat by boat by boat, and they ended up having to go and kill it because like he was just fucking destroying everybody's boats.
And I would think like the government would have hopped in and been like, if it's smart enough to do that, we need to capture it and test it and prod it and.
Like crazy?
Huh?
No.
They're like, we'll just.
They're like, oh, that's rich people stuff getting destroyed over there. Get him out of here.
Wow. Okay.
I would definitely choose space, though, just so Elon knows I still will go.
Oh, my Lord. Well, that's... Okay, I think that, I don't know, do you have anything more that you want to add to this topic before we move on to...
Not till tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
We are...
No joke, because this is going to be permanently, or not permanently, but...
They're 9 hours away from being out of oxygen.
You're very estimates. And as much as we joke about this shit and things like that, like, this is a very serious issue.
Oh, no doubt, but I'm just sitting there going, it's an issue that shouldn't be, but that's...
So if you had $250,000 just to blow, what would you do with it?
If I had to blow it.
And you're like, fuck it, I'm going to go do...
On an action.
Yeah. You could do it like an expedition. You could go out in the jungle. You could go in space. You could do the ocean. I mean, hell, you could go and... I don't know.
You're putting me on the spot, and I don't... I mean, like, that's
ever been like, I'm going to go do that.
No, I mean, you know, we talked about my time out on the island that I was like, you know what, I would love to... private jet, flying in on a private runway, mansion on an island.
Didn't we just talk about private jets and rich people?
No, I'm not. But I'm not a billionaire. I told you that.
Private jet,
I mean, no, I get that, but I'm not important enough
who
for them to risk being exposed. Well, I mean,
every person gets on Jason's like,
yeah.
What are you worth?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a billion, guys. We gotta go.
No, we gotta. Yeah.
Mark Cuban walks on, like, and we're out.
Yeah, I know.
And he's taking
you're being targeted by somebody, and I don't want to be nothing to do with it.
Farm is coming your way. We got to get out of here.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. No, I don't. If I had $250,000 that I had to spend on an adventure, it would likely be an adventure on the ground. That's or on a really, really, really big boat, and not in any type of like frigid waters. It wouldn't, it would be like Caribbean shit. I don't. Sorry, I've just. As I have tried to tell the whole team, the piss and vinegar that was there in my younger years, it's just not there anymore. And I'm a little bit more risk adverse. And when I think about any action, generally speaking, I think that mentally I'm still ripped with a six pack and I can take on a massive amount of stress, strain. Physically, I'm sitting there going, you don't heal quite like you used to heal. So I think about what physical action I'm going to take and then question, if something were to go wrong, is it worth it? Because I want to be painless for many, many decades to come. So I think about these things before I go out and do, because I'm not trying to do no stupid shit. You're not going to catch me like trying to do some weird ass balancing act, walking on poles, or no, I'm not. I'm just a little bit more risk adverse. I'm not as young and dumb as I used to be. And like I said, shit just does not heal once like it used to. So I think twice.
Just to go into outer space.
No, I don't see no point in going to outer space. I'm totally fine here on Earth. Every time I go up in a plane, I'm happy when it touches down. I deal with the minor anxiety, but I'm happy when it touches down. No, but yeah, one way or the other. But when I hear the wheels and feel it touch down, I'm like, even if there was a problem at that point, there's still a very high likelihood of survival. It's in the takeoff and the landing that's
a problem will occur.
Unless we talk about nefarious shit, and I'm like, I just don't imagine that billionaires fly in anything other than safe new planes, so that when they mysteriously come out of the air, it's like
we sit here and say that, but look at Kobe Bryant. It's like a simple little gauge.
A gauge,
a $1,500 thing that could have been added on,
and a high amount of fog, and them taking an unnecessary risk. It's just like we go back to the whole, Andrew Tate thing, where he's like, I'm promising you, I will never suicide myself, so that if any weird shit happens, believe my words, I will never suicide myself. And I'm like, okay, duly noted, because weird shit is happening. And I'm not, that's where I don't got a desire to be a billionaire, because billionaires are kings and kings are targets and they get knocked off. And I'm not, I do not need the B beside my net worth in order to feel special or important or accomplished. Don't need the stress or the strain. I invite both of you, because you're part of the team, build the business, make the business and the brands worth billions. I hope neither one of you have a huge desire to have that B beside your name in net worth, because I want to spend all my time around you, and I'm not trying to spend my time around targets.
I don't think I need $1 billion to get to outer space.
No, I don't know. You really don't. Obviously, you could drop $250,000 and get down to the Titanic. So I'm thinking $1 million can probably get you a ticket.
How much did
wait to get up there? But
did you hear about the airplane?
They might make you buy 2 seats or $2 million.
They might.
Well, the airlines now are starting to weigh people, and that's how they're charging you for your airline tickets.
Really?
And some people are mad.
Pay by weight.
Some people are upset about that, and as a fat person, I'm not upset as long
as I'm comfortable
and I'm getting 2 seats.
Yeah, as long.
Well, but it's funny, because on the other side of it, I'm like, I remember when, the year of it, and we were supposed to be going to the Pizza Expo, and I couldn't buy 2 seats for you. I had to call in and do but if they're going to make you pay by weight, and I'm like, but you still ain't got your technology up where I can be like, no, I want to assign 2 seats to one name. No, you still got to call in and actually do it.
Discrimination is what that's called.
Is that what it's called?
You have to call in to get your plane ticket?
No, I don't. I get that.
So as a fat person, I have to take an extra step.
Okay. Look, he stopped and looked at the camera.
You guys know.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Trish, what do you have? That's
So I guess we could talk about paying some bills, student loans.
Oh, this ought to be good.
So student loan repayment starts October.
I'm sorry. Go a little bit deeper into this.
Oh, I'm going to,
because I knew that. Are you talking about the Obama administration's third term of getting rid of student loans?
Well, Biden suspended it for 3 years. Now they've came back.
Which he was able to do by executive order, I'm assuming.
Trump suspended it. Biden continued.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now they want everybody to start paying their stuff back. And
nothing's free in life. Sooner or later, you're going to pay the piper.
Well,
I get it.
Now they're saying they're still trying to find ways to try to basically veto this decision.
So the courts.
I thought the Supreme Court came out and ruled on this. Okay.
It hasn't yet. But it's supposed to come out any day now.
Right.
Okay.
So now there's all these new companies popping up buying these people's loans, and they're going after these people for money. So instead of great things borrowers.
That's capitalism right there.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, this is great. So now I just got an email. Somebody just bought my student loan. and they're like, hey, we're the
Well,
new...
but the thing is, if it's no longer owned by the government or the educational institute, and it's owned by a capitalist for-profit company, are you able to bankruptcy out of it?
No.
How?
Betsy changed that. Betsy DeVos, fucking bitch, when she was in there, she changed that. So then private companies could go back and buy the debt because that takes the load off of the government. But really, it just gets the interest in her pocket because she is the largest owner of student debt.
So we're hoping that Biden comes through, and I guess like as long as you've had these loans for like 10 years, that he's trying to get it. I think he's trying to like what was it, 20,000 off? Up to 20,000.
I believe it's 20.
Yeah.
Now, and I mean, because I want to be clear, I am a huge person on personal accountability. I don't care what Kool-Aid was out there. You chose to drink the Kool-Aid. You signed up. You took the education, which likely did not develop a skill, which is your own bullshit, and you need to pay your bill. That's if you decided to go to college because you bought into their BS, and I'm saying it like that because don't get me wrong, like if you're going to cut into me, I'm like, as a doctor, I'm like, no, I want to know you got a certain amount of education, but all of the things.
I have a follow-up.
Okay, I mean, there are things where I'm like, look, what I'm getting at, and the thing, and it's been because I've heard it and I've put it to the. I'm saying minimum 50% of what you go and stupidly pay a college for education to learn. You can learn that shit for free by watching YouTube videos. Like all of that information is out there. If you really want to educate yourself, if you want to develop a skill, like even trades, I mean, you go into a trade, you come out a journeyman after 4 years. That's because you're putting something into practice in general.
Yeah.
But the point is, if you really want education for the purpose of applying a skill set to earn a living and follow a place in your life, like you're better off to go to YouTube and literally put yourself through school for free.
But you don't have that certification.
No, certified by who? Because that's the whole point. Is
The establishment.
That's what yeah, exactly. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I don't. In this day and age, I don't know that. Obviously, the certification is not worth a whole lot of
Well,
money.
a lot of people have talked about that. Like people who have graduated college and been like, nobody has asked for my transcripts. Nobody has asked for any of this.
Nobody's even asked to see it.
No.
Well, but the thing is, I mean, the people that, because we've had plenty of people inside of the business that they're like, I'm going to college for business administration. And I'm like, great, be prepared to forget everything that they teach you. So when you actually do step into the real world of business, you're going to realize that education is going to start all over again.
Yeah.
Sure.
I just have a major problem with people that never leave academia trying to tell you how it is in the real world. Because it's factually false. Like,
Different world.
That's
Yeah.
when it's one thing to talk about the philosophy, it's a whole nother thing to actually put it into practice and execution. The real world will knock you out, and you don't have that kind of training inside of a college environment where they're charging you thousands and thousands of dollars to get your certification or your diploma. I saw a meme where they had the guy was the joke was he was trying to sell his diploma and find like there was no value there. Nobody wanted to buy that diploma because nobody gives a fuck about that diploma.
Yeah, they're streamlining classes now to where they're even starting to streamline high school classes. And there's a thing now where people are pushing for more homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
So that way your kids aren't standardized. They're not put in this whole little group of sheep. And that way you can move out and do different things. There's so many different schools out there now. You know, it's not like it was when we were growing up. And the change, and like we were talking on the way over here, like kids these days, they don't want to read. They have audio, they got video. And, you know, my biggest thing is you have to read to survive. And Matt made a good point. He's like, no, you don't. He's like, you got audio and video now.
Albeit, let's not take anything away from reading. That, like, I don't want to, like, reading is a huge skill that you get a whole lot more than just learning how to read and learning how the written word. There's so many different skills that develop out of reading. And
that's how we were originally taught, is why we think that, though.
I mean, the thing is because again, first off, when I dropped out of high school, I thought that I just needed to accept that I'm a dummy. And since I didn't have a problem working with my hands, that I'm still going to get by in life because I'm not afraid to be a blue collar worker. And then I needed the diploma to get my job at Chrysler, and I tested out. So I realized I didn't need that quote unquote education. I think school is training you on how to be a worker bee, not actually giving you education itself. What I'm getting at, though, is once I decided that I wanted education, I went to books. And not only did I get education from books, my vocabulary developed. You get more out of books than just an education. There are my reading and writing, my comprehension, my big idea development, all of those things expanded exponentially by getting into books. I read books that were directly attributable to what I was either interested in or what was applicable to what I was trying to advance myself in when it come to business knowledge in general, rather than the training of I'm going to make you read this dumbass book that you paid thousands of dollars for me to assign to you to read, and you're not going to learn dick out of it, but then you're going to write me an essay, and then when you get out of college, congratulations, now you know how to create reports and do PowerPoints. That's what the type of education that you get out of that. And I'm like, no, I understand by listening, watching video, because people learn many different ways. I just don't want to discount that you can learn a great deal by reading. And that says a lot from somebody that dropped out of high school, that never truly paid any attention to or had a desire to pick up a book until well past my being 20 years old. I'm a huge believer in the power of books in general. And this is probably not even half of it. And it was a thirst for knowledge. It's just that I then moved from the books to wanting to see, and also understanding that stack, not necessarily multitasking, but stacking of tasks that when I'm working out, okay, well, I can listen to a podcast. I don't watch the YouTube video, but I can listen to the YouTube video and get knowledge and information that I can put forth while actually doing something physically. But it's information and knowledge attributable to you. I think that your comprehension level is going to be higher if you literally have interest.
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't think that anybody has interest in being told to read Moby Dick. And maybe I'm showing
maybe they should have read that on the submarine.
That's I know Moby Dick's about a big whale, but I've never actually fully read the book. And I mean, that might be showing I don't know, maybe that's high school curriculum. The point being, I just know that a lot of the curriculum that's actually put out there in college is useless, it's pointless, and it's not about the curriculum itself. It's about they're walking you through tasks on how to be a cubicle office worker bee type individual. And you can say, I paid all this money and I got this diploma and that's why you should hire me. And they're like, well, he did stick out a really shitty environment.
I was waiting to get to that.
And that's
not only did you stick out for 4, 5, 6, 8, however many years you paid for it.
Yeah, and that's yeah. Not only are you
to do our shit now,
exactly,
and they do it.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm hoping the Supreme Court though waives that. I did take on the debt, but I will gladly let it go.
Yeah,
no, the thing is, and that's what I'm saying. And if they do that, I'm not mad at you. I mean, like anybody, I'm like, yeah, this was, you got to the other side and was like, well, that was pointless. So if they tell me, oh, well, now you don't got to pay for it. Oh, legally, I don't have to pay for it. All right, no problem. Well, but I'm still standing here with personal accountability being the biggest character builder, I believe, in the world, because I'm like, in this day and age of woke that has led to entitlement, it's led to victimhood, it's led to I don't have any appreciation for delayed gratification. Personal accountability and owning your shit builds more character and will get you further down the road than any of these dumbass movements that have come and gone people respect personal accountability. When you make a decision, own your decision, own the consequences of your decision, good and bad. And generally, if you hold yourself to that character standard, more good than bad will come because you gain respect by owning your shit. Nobody is going to gain respect by finding a way to proclaim themselves a victim of college debt. I mean, I'm like, come on, man. I mean, you decided to sign the name on the dotted line. Most of you were like, oh, not only will you let me go into debt here, but
you've been intoxicated when I signed that contract.
But what about the extra one that was like, oh, yeah, we'll loan you money so that you can actually go through without having to worry about working as well. I mean, that was part of the whole student loan thing. Yeah, not.
I should have just paid during this whole.
Come on, people.
COVID.
Own it and pay your bill and move on about your life. And I mean, I don't know. I just personally believe there's a certain amount of dignity with you decided to take on this debt. Okay, pay your debt. Be a good contributing member to society. I'm sorry. I don't.
So do you think they sold our student loan stuff because the government's actually going broke and this is their way to make money?
Links when you started yours, and that's who I was with.
Yeah.
And they sold it to some weird name.
It is. Yeah, and I got an email about it a couple weeks ago.
I wonder if
and they're like
together.
And they're like, welcome. You need to sign in so we can start taking your money.
Yeah.
No,
we're excited to have you. Be like, I bet you are.
Well,
and that's what's it, because I mean that's good. There's another sooner or later we're going to do another podcast on predatory lending. Because I think that's allowing a capitalist company to step in and start haunting you and chasing you. And I mean, there's.
Make sure you log in before October.
Since we're going off the rails, before we get to your subject, I made a comment and I have to tie it in because it happened today.
YouTube.
So you're.
YouTube doctors. Wow.
Yeah, I had to go see a dermatologist today to get a skin tag cut off.
Okay.
And here I am working all day.
It was a skin tag, Matt. But
it was a big one, though.
It was a big one.
I was there.
Anyway, so just because you're talking about you want your doctors to have a degree. So get on this table, getting ready. I'm in a vulnerable position already. And he's like, you're going to feel a little prick. Hold on, getting everything ready. This man walks by. He doesn't even have shoes on.
The doctor.
I'm waiting for you to go, don't worry, I watched it on YouTube. We got this under control.
I see this guy last year. He took care of me. I'm not going to mention your name. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Doing it. As he gets started, dogs start walking into the goddamn room. Dogs. Multiple.
You're a dog lover.
I am. It made
That's a support animal.
Made surgery great. Not last thing you expect to happen.
Yeah.
But he has a degree. I seen it on the wall.
So you have no shoes and the dog.
No shoes.
While we're getting surgery.
Yeah.
But everything's fine.
While you're cutting me open.
Did it say online university?
I didn't read it.
Oh, it just said degree, and you're like,
it was took.
I needed the audio.
Oh. Wow.
It seemed like he did a great job. I don't know, but I just thought that was funny. No shoes, and there was dogs.
Okay. Wow. I mean, in the middle of what is supposed to be, I'm assuming, a sterile environment.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, what would you do if you walked into your dermatologist's office and there just comes like a dog just walking through, like, do 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 do? You wouldn't think anything about it?
No, I might be pretty like, what the fuck is this? Like, yeah, no, I don't.
I laughed and I was like, "There's dogs here," and he laughed. He's like, "There's actually two," and like it was on cue. Like, here comes this other little mixed thing. And I'm sitting there like getting shit cut off me and just petting dogs. He's barefoot. He has an office.
I just don't know what to say about that. I don't.
A lot of money today.
Is there a discount here? I mean, you're like, yeah, we brought you an emotional support animal. We know you love dogs. Maybe that's what it was, is that he saw you on the calendar and was like, this dude loves dogs. I mean, what can I do to make him comfortable?
That's some research into your patients.
Wow.
Next time I will bring my own dog, though.
Okay, so and I mean, we don't got to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I have a backhanded compliment for the Biden administration. And I say the Biden administration, I mean, because I mean, at this point, I'm sorry, it's it's very shameful that like the dude, he doesn't know what day of the week or likely what year it is. So I bet that he doesn't even know that he so-called or his administration did this. But then we parlay into, so the Biden administration made Juneteenth a national holiday. So like kudos. I'm like, not in a joking manner. Like I look at it and I'm like, I think Juneteenth is as significant as Memorial Day, the 4th of July, Labor Day. And then I'm questioning, like, Juneteenth was established in 1965 in Texas. Why is it that we're in 2023 that it's actually now an established national holiday? But I do want to thank Trump for creating awareness for Juneteenth. It is one more thing that he has actually done or brought awareness to.
What are the short list of things he did?
I mean, I won't get into debating the short or long. I will say that I just think that it's pathetic that we had Obama for 8 years, and I have talked to several black people that openly admitted that they were unaware of Juneteenth. So it just kills me that we had the first black president. He was reelected. We had 8 years of him. And it took Trump, from my memory, scheduling a rally or an event for somebody to say, how dare you? That's Juneteenth, which then brought national...
I believe it was in Texas. I think that's where it all started.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, well, why didn't... It's such a significant date. It should have been in our history books. It should have been in our elementary teaching.
It's not. It's going to be part of those whole banned books and all that stuff.
But that's what I'm saying.
It sounded like Civil War ended, everybody was free.
Yeah.
It's like,
No.
There was a lot more to it. And that's what I said, is that Biden didn't all of a sudden do this. Like I said, I think it's Obama's third term, because it's his administration that's running things, and they're telling Biden, oh, by the way, you did this. Oh, okay, I guess I did do this. But the point is, it is significant. I just find it very, honestly, pathetic that it took Trump scheduling a rally on a date that people used to turn into trying to create a negative for such a literal significant holiday for black people and for America. And it's just now being recognized in 2023. And we're talking about an event that happened in 1965. I find that shameful across many political spectrums, and something to thank Trump for.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but
no,
it's an important.
I'm being, like I said, it's all backhanded, whether it be slapping the Democrats or patting Trump on the back. It's pathetic the way it has national awareness has came about for Juneteenth.
That is undeniable.
This is a holiday that should have been a recognized holiday for a long time.
Martin Luther King Day.
Yes,
Yep.
and it is shameful, because like when I literally have black people saying, and I mean, I'm not mad at them at all. It's shameful that it is not in our curriculum of legitimate teaching.
Real thing. It's like,
That you literally are like, I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't know anything about it. And then, like I said, then you find, okay, well, how did national awareness come about?
Right.
Okay, it wasn't brought about legitimately. Trump didn't be like, hey, I'm gonna help bring national awareness to this. He just simply chose a date on the calendar, and somebody looked for a reason to be offended. And now all of a sudden, awareness.
Trump grabbed that and ran.
He did. He absolutely did. So through a backhanded way, we do know a little bit more about our history. It's just pathetic that
Which
that
is
it's
always a plus.
yes, that it came about the way that it did, that it was recognized the way that it was, and then implemented as a national holiday by somebody that doesn't even know what time of day it is. I mean, that's
why history is important. You don't get in a tube and go to the bottom of the ocean to see the Titanic.
Because now you're part of history.
Now you are also part of history.
I like how you wrap that in and put a nice little bow tie on it. I mean, hey, I think
Help
that's
me out, man.
No, that's totally. I'd like. Shoot, I think we can just that was the pin in it right there. I think we
That
can
was
end it right there.
Finger ending.
Drop the mic and go.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I think we've been at it for a good 50 minutes. So we will call that our,
I had fun.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I purposely don't keep track of this stuff because I don't want to, I don't want it on my brain, but I know that we got to be approaching somewhere between 75 and 80 episodes. So,
76.
okay. So
Go on 76.
if you found anything interesting or we made you laugh or it found slightly comical, share the show. Like,
Let us know.
yeah.
Space, or would you get in a tube and go to the Titanic?
Yeah. Feel free to state neither. I want to be clear. This is not a one or the other. You can go either way, but hopefully as we start getting these episodes rolling, that we will have more informational things of real substance, because I truly believe that people are going to forget this and move on to another subject. You say they run out of oxygen at 4 a.m. on Thursday.
96 hours. They left at 6 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh, so maybe it's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, so it will be forgotten by next Monday because the news cycle will carry this into the weekend. But Monday, they will dream up some other shit to make all of this disappear.
With lawsuits, somebody's going to be grabbing the billionaire's money.
It's gonna be
Yeah, but that's not that's court proceedings, and that's boring. That does not get headlines, and that's not.
The alien's going to come try to find their guy.
right. Or well, maybe this was like a whole publicity stunt, and all of a sudden they're going to pop up at like midnight, and the aliens are going to save them.
Wow, time will
be
tell.
absolutely pissed if they pop this fucker up like right now. Be like, they're down to an hour of air. We found him. And the seconds left, it like cuts down. The guy's like, oh, God, he's like getting, and as the clock runs out.
Who's getting the credit?
And I'll be like, fuck it, I'm done. Wow.
All right. Until next time, you guys have a good night.